Hello, I'm John Shepherd, and in this video we're going to try to clear up some of the questions that some of you guys have raised over how to weight train effectively for sprints and jumps. A lot of athletes think that the strength gained in the weights room is going to directly improve your jump and sprint performance. Well, there are a number of issues when thinking in that way. For example, the majority of weight training exercises are performed from two legs and in a very up and down manner. They don't actually have too much relevance to the movements that you're going to perform when you're sprinting or jumping, for example. Now, the squat is a very common exercise used by athletes. However, the movement involves acceleration of the bar and then deceleration when it reaches the top of the movement. This is totally different to what happens when you're jumping, for example, whereby you accelerate and keep accelerating as you move off the board. Obviously you do slow down as you're coming into the landing, for example, but the principle is the muscular actions at the point of takeoff are accelerative and they continue to be accelerative. With a weight on a bar, you squat and then you have to stop the movement at the top of the movement. It's the same with a clean, where the bar comes up to the shoulders and then it's arrested, stopped at that height. Therefore, you're training a movement pattern that's not specific to the ways that you need to have them trained for your specific event. Another issue with weight training is that it can affect your power to weight ratio. If you train in a particular way in the weights room and your body is particularly predisposed to putting on more muscle, then you could be carrying more weight around with you than you actually need to effectively jump or sprint faster. It's not so widely known that in the process of weight training, your body produces certain chemicals, and basically these are androgens. They are growth hormone and testosterone, and those hormones will produce greater muscle mass, in particular if you train in a particular way. This particular way is more akin to what bodybuilders do, and that's using reps in the 8 to 10 range and with loadings on the bar circa 70% of your 1 repetition maximum. Now that's actually a weight and a system that many athletes actually use. So if you train predominantly with those loadings and those reps and your body has a predisposition to putting on muscle, you're more likely to gain size, gain weight, and this can actually detract from your athletic performance. The majority of weight training exercises involve a pushing movement, the bench press, or even a squat where you're pushing up against the weight to lift it. Now that specifically is known as a concentric muscular action. The problem is the key muscular action or set of actions for the majority of athletic events is actually the stretch reflex. This is where a muscle or muscles are put on stretch. For example, when hitting the board in the long jump, in the ankles, knee and hip, and then they quickly contract the concentric reaction to propel the athlete from the board. So, in the weights room, by predominantly training concentrically, you're training a muscular action that has less than a very specific relationship with the actual event that you're performing. Concentric strength will give you greater acceleration, everything else being equal, i.e. when put into a correct training program. But on its own, it's not going to directly improve performance. You're going to get more benefit from training plyometrically and training eccentrically. Now, eccentric training is something that I've been talking a lot about, and I'm going to produce some more videos on this very subject over the next few months. Suffice to say that the athletes in my group have been experimenting with eccentric training at the moment. We're trying to look at what load to lift, or to lower, I should say. Also the time of the lower, and also which exercises are best. A common saying in coaching at the moment is to train movements, not muscles. Now, in the weights room, unless you're really thinking about exercise selection and what exercises are going to be truly beneficial for your event, you tend to just train muscles. Therefore, you're training your body, your musculature, separately to what you actually need to do when you're training, or rather I should say, when you're actually performing your event. I'm therefore in favour of doing single leg exercises such as step-ups, split squats and so forth, as these have a greater relevance to athletic event performance. Obviously, in sprinting and jumping, it's a unilateral activity where you're transferring body weight at speed from one leg to another. Therefore, double-legged exercises such as the squat and Olympic lifts such as the clean have less benefit in my mind to actually assisting you in terms of improving your event. Now, of course, there are going to be those who are real advocates of weight training, and they're going to say, but the strength you gain in the weights room is going to transfer into your athletic performance. Well, it will only do this if you do the right exercises, use the right muscular actions, and select the right loadings as well. You have to transfer those gains from the weights room into your athletic event performance, and you need to specifically train concurrently with those other aspects of your event's performance. So you also need to be doing plyometric training, sprint drills, technique work and so forth. Another factor which can be overlooked when it comes to weight training is how it fits into the overall training program. So if you're doing a very intense weight training session, perhaps lifting near to maximum weights as fast as you can, then this is going to tax your central nervous system. You're going to get a bigger drain on your body and what it's capable of doing, and more importantly, this could affect your adaptation. So it's often recommended nowadays that you combine your weight training with certain training sessions, or do them on the same day if you're doing 2 sessions. So you could do speed work and resistance training, heavy weight training on the same day, as you're tending to train the same energy system. That would then enable you to have a lower intensity day the following day, rather than perhaps doing heavy acceleration work on a Monday, for example, and then doing heavy weights on a Tuesday. This way, the loading on the central nervous system is waived, and you're less likely to get fatigued and more likely to get that positive adaptation that you're after. Hopefully, what I've tried to explain will make some sense. After all, you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours in the weights room literally wasting your time. You want to get into the weights room and do the most effective workout that you can that will boost your athletic performance. As usual, thanks for watching and good luck with your training and competition, and do subscribe to the channel. Please leave any comments you may have in the section below, or send in any questions via my Instagram account, my website or my Twitter account.